So what was your high school experience like?
It was great, really. I went to high school in Menlo Atherton High School, which, as you know, is the public high school you would go to. Now, the chances that I moved to Seattle and my kids would grow up and move back to the Bay Area, and if you went to public school, you'd go to the same high school I went to, would strike me as like 1 in a million. But anyway, Menlo Atherton High School, the first graduating class was in 1955, and I was in the graduating class of 1959, so that was the fourth or fifth year. And our school motto was, our class motto was, nothing could be finer than a 59er. So high school was a very good experience for me. It's sort of where I began to make friends and began to take part in extracurricular activities. I was not an athlete, but I managed the swimming and water polo teams. And the most important extracurricular activity I did was Junior Statesman of America.
What's that?
It's a now pretty much nationwide organization of high school kids that get together and are interested in both political events and the political process. So we would present resolutions in an assembly, and you would debate the pros and cons, somewhat like the state legislatures do and Congress. And we elected officers, and there was a summer school that I went to between my sophomore and junior year, and where kids from all over the state got together, and we had about 6 weeks, I think, of school, and I met kids from all over the state. And because of that experience, I was, in my junior year, I was elected to be the lieutenant governor for the state, and that was a lot of fun. And I suspect it was probably the main reason I got into Harvard, was I had a state office. And now interviewing kids for Harvard, that's one of the things we look for. What did they do beyond their own high school? And not many kids do much beyond their own high school, I can now say. So I now understand more than I did then how important that was. But for me then, what was important about it was a lot of fun to meet kids from all over the state and have a leadership role. And there were teachers involved, but it was pretty much a student-run organization. And since I know you haven't asked on tape, but you were interested in girlfriends, that's where I met really my first girlfriend, or I honestly don't remember. We might have met before, and then we started doing Junior Statesman together. And that was Sue. Sue White was her name. And she was a very smart, very attractive woman, and for some reason, she found your grandfather, maybe like your mother says, interesting and stimulating or something. Anyway, she came from a quite modest background, but she was a good friend through all of high school and some into college and even into medical school. We did break up. I'm not exactly sure that I remember why. I think in our junior year. And then I had another girlfriend, Donna. And Donna was the first really good Jewish friend I had. And I met her, I think, in a mixer that was at one of those junior state conventions. So So Donna was my second girlfriend, and we went together certainly all of my senior year, probably most of my junior year, and then pretty much the first year of college. And she was a year behind me. And when she went to college, then sort of we both started dating other people. But the real reason we broke up was at one point I told my mother, Grandma Gigi, that, and I remember it very well, we were on vacation together in Bermuda, and I told my mother that I just remember the sentence, the possibility, it was not impossible that Donna and I would get married. So I was probably a junior in college, maybe a sophomore. And anyway, my mother had a big fit, and so did my father, whom she told about this. And that was because they were so focused on nothing interfering with my career to go on and go from college to medical school and become a fine, outstanding, well-educated doctor. And the thought that I would be married and might have some focus other than school and education and my profession was really unacceptable to them. And it's really one of the only times that my parents and I had a serious disagreement. I don't know whether they were right or wrong. I think Donna and I might have made a reasonable couple, but it wasn't to be.